Going to kick off with cable. It's seen a bit of a rally this morning. Nothing new. The CBI survey was strong, and perhaps sterling just high on hopes for a big fiscal boost from Sunak, who's speaking at 12 today. Also looking at the technicals, cable's so oversold here, with stochastic printing around 5, and I would have thought it's a little bit of a short squeeze. If we sort of zoom in here, we had a really big area of support along these lows here, just around sort of around the 27s. We sort of held there, and if we zoom in just a touch further, you can see this area here with support, breaks through, resistance, breaks back through, support, and resistance, breaks back through here on the classic long, up to test the pivot. We've also got, I can just bring into shot the 200-day moving average, which just coming back out on the daily chart here. You can see price stalling here around the 200-day moving average, which was one of our targets on the idea that we put up on TradingView from the 130s down towards the 200-day moving average, just stalling there. Been a bit of shenanigans around that level. If we zoom in, you can see it got quite choppy above, below, but it looks like sort of price has accelerated away from that. You know, I think market participants will be listening to what Sunak has to say. You know, with second lockdown fears in the UK, with furlough ending next month, I would have thought that there would be a continuation of furlough and perhaps a fiscal boost, which would be good for cable. And so it'd be interesting to see how we close the session here. If we close the session quite bullish, my strategy would be to buy dips, you know, back up towards the 130s, perhaps, maybe a touch lower. Don't forget that Brexit risk premium hasn't been fully priced in yet, so I would expect any sort of rally here to be a good opportunity for short sellers to re-emerge. If we just do a fib from the high of September down to the low here, the fib 382 comes back in around that 130 mark. So it'd be interesting to see if we do get a bounce here where the sellers come back in. I would be looking to sell this again, but in the near term, 200-day moving average holding, and you know, if we do close the session quite strong today, I'll be looking for longs back up towards, you know, 28.60, which is that high from the 22nd, and you know, potentially even higher. Looking at the euro, some interesting price action on the euro, and that 117 area that we were talking about broke after, you know, we've got bearish price action off the 119 handle. Price then rolls over, selling rallies along the way, and this 117 was one of those key price points where it's sort of bullish above, bearish below. Just looking to sell rallies now, and you can see the rally this morning in the euro sort of tested the pivot and found resistance before going down through new lows here. And tomorrow again, just waiting for a rally to come back up towards the sort of 116.60, potentially higher, 116.70, looking for any bearish price action around there to get short for another test of new lows. On a bigger time frame, you know, Sam and I were discussing where would be a good place to go long the euro again, because of the sort of bullish story that's been in play for the euro since May. And you know, we'd be looking around here, sort of just below the 116 mark, lower than that, around sort of the fib 382 from the 2020 low, which comes in around the 115. You know, long there, back up towards the 120s. You know, that'll be a trade for later on in the year, potentially early next year as well. That'll be a beast. So looking forward to that. Just going to cover the equity market as well. So the S&P's on quite an interesting price point here. If we just flip over to the daily, there's some interesting price action here. We've got price trending higher, pulls back here on the September the 21st. Really nice hammer rejection here of the sort of June highs, and this, according to Nissan's candlestick charting textbook, you know, if price does not close below this hammer, that's definitely a more bullish signal, and I'll be looking to get long. You can see us holding that price. If we can hold up above this sort of 3220 mark and the 3200 handle, then the strategy again would just be to buy dips in the trend back up towards the all-time high, which I do believe will be tested. You know, there's plenty of fundamental reasons to be bullish the equity market. We've just got to time it correctly, and I'm sure if we get a fib from here up to here, you've got fib 50 in the mix as well. So they're my sort of charting ideas for the day.